Hello children, good morning everyone, and as usual I hope you all are doing very good at home. You all are well. You have all of you are in good health, and at the same time you must be quite busy in doing your assignments and all. Today I am here in between you with my new topic, my second topic of the third chapter, that is kinship and marriage. Kinship and marriage. Without spending much time on that other discussion and all, let me straight away get into the topic. Families. What is family? It's a very quite natural thing, and we take the family as granted because we have been with our family, so we have never thought about it. What is family? How a family is being formed, etc., etc. But let us discuss something about families. We often take family life for granted. Let me go through a book only. We often take family life for granted. I want to go through your books because I got a feedback. Some of my students want me to discuss the topic line by line following the book. So I'm here for you, and on your demand I will go as per your need. Okay, well, we often take family life for granted. However, you may have noticed that not all families are identical. They vary in terms of numbers of members, their relationship with one another, as well as the kind of activities they share. Yes, families are, it's a very natural thing, and we take this family as a term, quite, quite lightly. But at the same time, you may have noticed that there are different types of family. Some families are small in number, some families are large in number. Okay, and every families are not identical to the other. In some families, there are very good relationship. Say suppose it's a joint family, so there are large number of people, say 15 16 members are living together in a same place under a same roof. Okay, and all of they are living together in peace. They are living together happily, and they have very good relationship. They share their food, they share their responsibility, they share their resources, and at the same time they practices and they perform the different type of ceremonies, festivals, etc., etc. together. Secondly, there are small families or nuclear families where there are only 3 or 4 members in a family, and presently the modern day families are normally the nuclear type of family only. In this type of family, the father, in most of the cases, father go out, he works and he earn. In some cases both father and mothers are working. Okay, and in such a situation, there is not a very good, I am not telling that there is not good relationship, but yes, because of their commitment and all, they hardly get some special time to share with each other. Sometimes it's happened that a father did not even know which class his son or daughter is in, because when he uh, goes out for work at that time, maybe the son and daughter is already out for his schools and all, and when he come back at that time, by that time, the kids are already in the bed. They hardly met them. Okay, so these are some special features about the nuclear family. Often, people belonging to the same family share food and other resources and live, work, and perform rituals together. I told you already. Families are usually part of larger network of people defined as relatives. or to use a more technical term, kinfolk. Now what is family? The definition of the family is, families are usually parts of a larger network of people defined as relatives, or to use a more technical term, kinfolk. I mean, families are a small part of a large, large networks of people, large group of people. Usually that large network of people are, technically it is called kinfolk, or in other words, it's a relatives. While familial ties are often regarded as natural and based on blood, they are defined in many different ways. Like, familial ties are natural. Okay, say our family. Suppose my family or your family. Just consider your own family, like your father, your mother. You have a brother or a sister. Okay, 4 people. Suppose I'm just giving an example. So this family, this familial relationship is a natural. Your father happened to be Mr. X. He married a girl, that is your mother, and as a result of the relationship between your father and mother, you born, or your brother and you born, okay, or your sister and you born, and as a whole, because of this marriage relationship between your father and mother, you become a part of that particular family. This type of relationship is a blood relationship. Okay, so a family can be created, or a kinfolk can be created, or a large network of the relatives can be created with the help of 2 different methods, or 2 different methods are being followed to create the large network of the relatives or kinfolk. One, it's by blood. Okay, just let's go back to your the example which I just gave you before. Your family, you, your brother, your sister, and your father and mother, you have the blood relationship. Okay, you are related to your father with your blood, or your mother with your blood, or you with your brother or sister with the blood. I mean, this is blood relationship. And the other way to form the family or the relatives or the kinfolk is through the contract of marriage, or through marriage relationship. That is why here, one side there is a paternal family members, and other side there is a maternal family members. Say you have your father have, your fathers have 2. Your father have 2 brothers. Say now you are the son or daughter of your father. Similarly, your father's brother, maybe elder or the younger brother, also have his son or daughter. The relationship between you and the son or daughter of your brother, your father's brother, is defined as a cousin brother or cousin sister. Here also is the blood relationship. Okay, in some cases, I'm not telling that entirely in every society this type of the relationship is considered as blood relationship. In some society, this type of relationship is considered as a blood relationship. But in some other society, it is not considered as a blood relationship. It is just considered as a relative. Okay. So, yes, I just told you that, in some society, like, for instances, some societies regard cousin as being blood relations, whereas others do not. Now, for early societies, historians can retrieve information about allied families fairly easily. It is, however, far more difficult to reconstruct the familial relationship of ordinary people. Now, it was easier for the historians. Actually, it's not easier for any historians to find out the information and all. They have to work a lot. But comparatively, it was easier to find out about the familial relationship, or the family life, or families of the elite society, are so-called high class people or high caste people in the society, because there are number of sources, there are number of books and all. Through those textual traditions and all, historians quite easily reconstructed the history of the elite families, whereas it was quite difficult for the historians to find out about to get the information about the common folk or the ordinary families, because there were hardly any textual evidences and all, textual traditions and all, or textbooks and all, where there is a record of the familial practices in the familial practices of the ordinary people. Historians also investigate and analyze attitude towards family and kinship. Yes, this is very important. I already told you that, and we have already discussed this thing, that every family was not identical. There were large, there are quite differences, there are differences in different things among different families. Okay, in some cases, there are very good relationship, democratic type of family. Okay, where everybody have say in the familial affairs. There are some families where it's a type of a bossy type of familial structure, where there is a one person or two or one or two person who take all the decisions of the family, and they hardly discuss the matter with the other people in the family, other members in the family. So these things are very important, and historians, while writing about those things, they have also given importance to this type of things also. They also investigated and they also analyzed the attitude towards family and kinship. Why it is important? This is important because they provide an insight into people's thinking. It is likely that some of these ideas would have shaped their actions, just as actions may have led to changes in attitude. Because the attitude of a particular people, a particular family, a particular member in the family decides or so how he behaves with the other people. That is very important. Okay, and at the same time, sometimes their behavior decides their attitude, and in some other cases, their attitude decides their behavior. That is why historians give importance to this. To find about the attitude, find about the attitude of a particular people, a particular person in the family towards their kin, their family members, at the same time their relatives also, near ones and dear ones also. Now, the next topic in your series is the idea of patrilineal. The ideal of patrilineal. Now, to discuss this topic, ideal of patrilineal, let us go back to the previous topic. In our last topic, we discussed about Mahabharata, and we can identify points when kinship relations changed. We can identify points when kinship. If you know, or if actually we know only, that only. The central story of Mahabharata is about the conflict between the cousin brother, two cousin brothers, those Kauravas and Pandavas fighting against each other for property, for power, for throne. Okay, so at one level, the Mahabharata is a story about this. Mahabharata is a story about the patrilineal. Now, what is patrilineal? Just look at the source there. Patrilineal means tracing descent from father to son, grandson, and so on. Okay, so patrilineal succession means succeeding the father, or passing the property or the throne or the responsibility from grandfather to father, from father to son, and so on. This type of relationship is patrilineal relationship, or this type of succession is a patrilineal succession. Okay, now the Mahabharata describes a feud over land and power between two groups of cousins, the Kaurava and the Pandavas, who belonged to a single ruling family, that of the Kurus. I already told you this, and we know this already. Okay, Mahabharata, the central story of Mahabharata is the conflict between the Kauravas and Pandavas, although they belong to the same ruling family, that is Kurus. But they were fighting against each other. They were fighting against each other to gain the power, or to become, to gain the succession in the throne of Kuru. I'll tell you what was the main problem there a little later. Now, ultimately, what happened? What happened? What was the result of Mahabharata? What happened at the end of the Mahabharata? Okay, ultimately, this conflict between the Kauravas and Pandavas ended in a battle in which the Pandavas emerged victorious. After that, patrilineal succession was proclaimed. So, the result of this Mahabharata was that, the result of that conflict was that, there was a battle, long battle, okay, and that battle is very famous as the Battle of Mahabharata. After this battle, or in the battle, Pandavas were, victorious, and it is said that this victory in the battle actually, provided the patrilineal succession. Here, now, what happened? I'll just tell you the story. Pandu was the father of Pandavas, okay? That 5 brothers, Yudhishthira, Bhim, Nakul, Sahadev, okay? And Duryodhan was the son of the Dhritarashtra. And Pandu and Dhritarashtra was the brother. There was third brother also, okay? Now, Pandu, he was the ruler, he was the king. Now, at a point of time, he left his empire, he left his throne to his brother, and he retired to the jungle or forest, okay, with his 2 wives. And after some time, after a few years, his one wife came back to the, Kurus, and the Pandu could not come back, because it said that Pandu died there in the jungle only. But his wife, Pandu's wife, along with the 5 sons, they came back to the Kuru. Now, when these 5 brothers became young and elder, now they were ready to, succeed the throne. Now they started claiming that, the Pandu was the real ruler of Kuru. So that is why now it is their time to get back the lost throne. Other side, Dhritarashtra was the ruling. Dhritarashtra was ruling the Kuru Vansh when Pandu was not there. So Duryodhana also, said that no, my father was the king, so I am the rightful successor of the throne. That was the reason why there was a conflict. I am not going to discuss deep about all those things, but later on this conflict led to the battle, and in that battle I already told you that Pandavas become victorious, and it is said that the patrilineal succession was proclaimed after this battle. Now, most ruling dynasties, between around circa 6th century BC onwards, claimed to follow this system, although there were variation in practice. Sometimes there were no some. Okay, so the practice of this patrilineal succession, the system of this patrilineal succession was prevailed in the society. It was there in the society before Mahabharata was being, written down, or Mahabharata was being composed. Okay, we know that Mahabharata is composed between 5th century BC to 5th century AD, okay, or century, okay, CAD. Now, that 1,000 years of time, but it is said that the patrilineal succession was prevailed in the society before 5th century BC, or before Mahabharata started composing. Okay, it was, it was already there. And it is also said that most of the people follow this patrilineal succession system. But, yes children. At the same time, there were variations also. It is not that in every cases these patrilineal successions were being followed and practiced. Say in some cases, suppose there was no son. If there is no son, in that cases the throne has to be transferred either to the brother, okay, younger brother, or to some other relatives. Okay, so in that case it is not a patrilineal succession here. And in some other cases, like sometimes other kinsmen claim the throne, and in very exceptional circumstances women such as Prabhavati Gupta exercised power. Okay, in some cases, suppose there is no brothers, or if there is brother also, in some cases other people claim the throne. They forcefully claim the throne. Sometimes they take away the throne only. Or in some other cases, there are some instances where the woman like Prabhavati Gupta, or Prabhavati Gupta, succeeded the throne of her father. Okay, so in that case, it is not a patrilineal succession. Now, the concern with patrilineal was not unique to ruling families. It is evident in mantras in ritual texts such as the Rig Veda. It is possible that these attitudes were shared by wealthy men and those who claimed high status, including Brahmanas. So, the concept of the patrilineal was not confined within the ruling families only. This concept of patrilineal was, was there among the common people also, common folk also. Okay, and in some of the ancient texts like Rig Vedas and all, this sort of things were already mentioned there. And it is said that some of the mantras of the Rig Vedas contain this type of problems, this type of situation, and so it was possible that these attitudes were shared normally by the wealthy people in the society. Okay, and those people who claim themselves to be of higher status, normally the Brahmins. Okay, this much is for your kinship and the ideal of patrilineal. Now next topic is the rules of marriages. I'll continue in next video.